STHAPATyaVed and economics. This is something very important to understand, that if any country follows the principles of STHAPATyaVed, then it can contribute in its GDP, because so many wastages can be addressed. If we study the economy and budget of developing countries, then we'll understand that a very great chunk of the budget goes in so many unproductive fields, which could be addressed very properly if foreseen properly. Number one, health budget. If a country is not planned properly, the town planning is not done properly, city planning is not done properly, houses are not made properly, villages are not made properly, and there are so many slums which erupt here and there. And if we see the hygienic condition of hygiene, condition of sanitation, condition of exposure with the right sun, so then we'll understand that just by planning one house, one colony, one cluster, one town can save a lot of money, which can go to more productive areas of the country, in infrastructure, in developments, in sports, in so many creative fields. Because just now, if we go and we start to observe smallest unit or a cluster, just like many millions of people, they live in slums. And slums are not, of course, not made properly. Habitation there is, everybody can understand, very poor. All the congested cities which are not made properly, they don't have proper ventilation, proper sanitation, proper hygiene. So as a result, what happens? People fell sick a lot. So many diseases, which are avoidable if one lives in a right place, with right ventilation, with right sun, with right hygiene, and so many things can be avoided. All that money which goes waste, we can't say waste because of course it is used in making them healthy. But first let them fall sick and then using money to make them healthy, it is a sort of wastage. Wastage in a sense that it is making two harms. One, a person is suffering and we are letting them suffer, and then we are trying to cure them. So what we use to save them, to make them healthy, to take care of them after they fell sick, if we try to take that budget and we are very systematically, in an organized manner, all that budget, if we start taking a small unit of any city, any slum, and we gradually, whatever country can afford, if we can start working on those areas which are absolutely poorest in hygiene, poorest in habitation, and we can scan the data, which are the areas which are very poor in health conditions, and government's great budget is going in taking care of those areas, health of those areas, hygiene of those areas. So we must think properly so that that budget, we must allocate some percentage of a budget to utilize it in that manner so that it should be utilized to create proper habitation. It could be done on voluntary basis. It could be done on public-private partnership, or, of course, because state has a limitation, but at least it can start a pilot project. We should relocate all those areas where these budgets are going to take care of them, to take care of health. We feel proud in creating health centers and so many clinics and so many hospitals, government-aided hospitals. But what if we think properly not to let them fall sick? For that, when slums, they just make a cluster, and they make cluster in a very unorganized and very dense manner. So first we can work on cluster because they don't live properly, but they occupy spaces. So if we think over that if one cluster is occupying the space, well, we can't avoid because they are there to live, and we have to provide. It's our moral duty to provide all these things to those who can't afford it. So if somebody is creating slum at some place, so at least we can plan in such a manner so that at least every house has a proper ventilation, proper sun, proper space to breathe, to start those plannings. And those plannings are there in STHAPATYAVed, ancient text of STHAPATYAVed, Vedic architecture. It has details of Dandak, Sarvatobhadra, Nandya, Vartul, Padmak, Karmuk, Prastar, Chaturmukh. There are many, many types of village planning. And every village planning has some common place, east-west roads which are absolutely straight, perpendicular to each other, so that it works like a vein, like arteries. So whole small, whether it is very small, 10, 20, 50, 100 houses, or it is a big town planning. When roads are sharp east, west, north, south, then it is properly well ventilated. No air is wrapping in any pocket or zigzag roads or triangular roads or which don't let the polluted air move out. So all proper east-west roads with right distances. With Brahmasthan means every smallest unit has a common place in center, that is called Brahmasthan. So it means it is a sort of reservoir. All the areas which are around that Brahmasthan, and that area of Brahmasthan is calculated as per the surroundings. So every surrounding is scattered a common place where everybody can sit, walk, breathe, have proper sun, proper vitamin D and all those things possible, where necessary plantation is done so that all qualities of medicinal breath one can take. So whether it's a small unit of 10, 20, 50 houses or bigger town planning, if it is done on that basis of a STHAPATYA Vastu Shastra, which is very important ancient Indian knowledge of planning and habitation and making houses and making villages, making towns. So if we focus on that, then we can save a lot of money, millions of rupees or dollars, what we waste in importing medicines, and all foreign reserve is going waste in importing medicines and all those things. So we like a very important mantra, I'll call it mantra only, that a good doctor, the duty of a good doctor is, it is described in ancient Vedic texts. It says, swasthasya swasthya rakshanam aturasya vikara prashamanam cha. A duty of a doctor is to keep healthy always. A good doctor, if a good doctor is present there, then the duty of a doctor is to see, to look after that nobody falls sick. Swasthasya swasthya rakshanam. Only if somebody fell sick because of, so many other factors, if a person is not living in right vastu, right buildings, not unable to have right sun, so having lack of vitamin D, not having proper ventilation, so not having proper oxygen and falling sick, not having proper interior, proper colors, proper placements, proper proportion. So there are many types of physical, mental and other disorders. So they take place because of that. So if we take care of all those things, then we can prevent a lot of drainage, wastage of money, very important money, of especially for developing countries, where each penny counts. If those pennies are going waste because of not proper planning, and a person is suffering, then one is taking care of it. Then in the name of caring, one is doing so-called charity and all those things. So those money which is utilized in so-called charity or so-called help or so-called social reforms or so many things. Because if a person is not living in right conditions, then there are so many negative things, ill things happen in that society. So, and if in the name of rehabilitation, people will spend. So if all those things which are taken care of after something happens, if we take care of all those things in advance, so we don't let them fall sick, we don't let them start suffering. So if we take care of that, then we can prevent a lot of money of very, very, important part of GDP of developing countries, where literally each penny counts. So if we start spending right from small clusters, again I am repeating, 10, 20, 50 houses, if we try to plan those things as per Sthapat Vedic principles, which has very great systematic planning of roads, proper parallel east, west, north, south roads, having Brahmasthan means common place, which is calculated as per the number of people who live there, so that each and everybody gets proper medicinal exposure to all those medicinal plants, proper sun, proper breathing. Everybody can go there and do pranayam, or do asanas, having good exposure of right sun, having good place to stretch their body at least. They should relax, they should get exposure of right sun. So there are so many diseases which can be prevented. So in that way, if we take care of, then by following STHAPATYA-Vedic principles, we can prevent so many sickness, illness, social harmony, and we can reduce so many negativities of society just by addressing all these things. These are very important things. If we try to follow the principles of STHAPATYA-Ved Vastu Shastra based ideal town and cities and colonies planning, then we can save a lot of money, especially of GDP of developing countries, as well as if we take care of so-called developed countries where people are suffering from many diseases. They even don't know now in present times what is the reason of those diseases, like multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer, Parkinson's. Many doctors, all so-called modern doctors and modern medicine and modern technology, they don't have the reason why these things are happening. Sometimes here and there in a scattered manner they get a glimpse that this is because of this, because of that, but thoroughly, properly, they don't know why it happens. But those things, if we try to see properly, those things are not available in those countries, in those areas, even of India. We can say that economically that is not but if we go and study the traditional villages where planning is done like that, then we'll find that all these terrific diseases, multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer, Parkinson's, in US alone, I think 500,000 people suffer each year from multiple sclerosis, and they even don't know why it happens. They don't have any medicine, any cure of that, only symptomatic treatment. So why these diseases are found there, which are highly developed countries? They lived in highly hygienic and controlled atmosphere, air conditioning, and all a building which are very rich in interiors and having central air conditioned atmosphere and all that. So why it happens they are suffering from those diseases which are not found in so-called developing countries, if their villages and other clusters are planned properly? Because in modern system, in modern high-tech buildings and in developing countries, many buildings are planned in such a way that they are not exposed with natural ventilation, natural radiations, all radiations which are provided by the nature, by different celestial bodies. They are not aligned properly with magnetic fields. They are not exposed with the right energies of celestial bodies in right time of the year. So if we take care of all those things, then we can save a lot of money of developing countries and lot of money of even developed countries. So if we go back and see the traditional culture, Vedic culture from 1,000 years, from time immemorial, those festivities of each and every day. Today, this is the festival for going to banyan tree. This is the festival of going to river. This is this is a festival to go to sit and cook under the amla tree, and a leaf should fall in the food. So, and this is this, I tell you something very, very, very important, which must be revived on local level as well as on much grander level. We had in India, it was called Panchkosiyatra. It was Panchkosi means it was 1 kosi is equal to almost 2 kilometers. So these yatras were organized like if you go to Tirth or religious places, it is they go 10 kilometers around, and so it was a religious ceremony that people used to walk so many kilometers going around some places. In Narmada is a very, very holy river. People, they do Narmada Parikrama. It means they go along with the Narmada river. So what these all things are? They are exposed by the name of religion. They go and they get exposure of the medicine qualities of banyan tree, of people tree. They go and move around so many kilometers on every occasion of that particular festival. So what happens? They go around in that particular season, so their bodies are exposed to that particular radiation of sun, that particular radiation of celestial bodies, so that they are exposed with those plantations, those trees which are especially very nourishing in that season. And we know that every season has so many different saplings and or trees. They flourish in different seasons. So when they move that many kilometers around that Tirth or at a religious place, so what was that? In the name of that Panchkosiyatra and that yatra, there are many names of that. So if we go around along with that road, along with that special path, they are exposed with so many plants, so many saplings, so many radiations, so many, they used to go barefoot. So they used to touch these acupressures was done, and they touch of so many types of soil, having so many different types of salts and minerals, and so everything was all nature body was exposed to, and all body was nourished by radiations, by touch of the soil, by breath of so many plants and saplings. So my avahan, my invitation to every so-called intellectual, so-called educated people is that everybody should restart those Panchkosiyatras and all those yatras, so that all these people who are, go in a stadium or in a city, just go, they say that they go walk for these many kilometers, and that if these things are revived, just walking is not enough. So if we revive all these things, then it is important that walking along with those areas which are having that particular plants, that particular saplings, that particular soil chemistry, that particular radiation in those particular times of the year, where radiation has different qualities. Because we very well know that in different seasons, different trees give different fruits. It means, and fruit is what? Fruit is the result of secretion of some chemicals of some trees, specific trees, various trees. So similarly, it means all these different radiations are responsible to create different chemicals in biostructures, whether it is tree or it is human physiology. Everybody knows that if body is exposed for few minutes, then body creates all vitamin D. But we must understand that to create vitamin D, there must be proper vitamin C in the body. So, these things are to be revived. If they are living in a proper Vastu, proper STHAPATYAVed based village planning, they follow all these. It was called religious activities, but in the name of religious activities, going to these places, moving around that many kilometers, going and sitting in that particular festival under the amla tree, going around and touching that banyan tree, touching peepal tree. So every tree was associated. So many trees were associated. So many rivers were associated with all these things. It was nothing but trying to make your physiology healthy, your psyche healthy, your thought process healthy, social life was healthy because it was a community affair. So, if these things are revived, then everybody who is suffering from those things which are, in modern science, they even cannot diagnose why it is happening. Because one can test those things in the pathological lab, which is there on physiological level, on material level. But if it is on abstract level, then abstract level is not chemical, so it can't be tested in pathological lab. Like in Ayurveda, it is said, what is the definition of a healthy person? It says, samadosha samagnisha samadhatu malakriya prasan atma indrimana sasta ityavidhiyate. It means samadosha, vata, pitta and kapha. These are basic qualities. Vata means air, pitta means fire, bile, and kapha means all body, fluid content. Jal tattva, water body. So, samadosha, all these things should be in order. Samadosha, agnish, all types of fire. We have Jataragni, fire, that acidic value or that bile, all those things which are responsible to digest food. So, samadosha, samagni, all these types of fire should be in order. Samadhatu, all types of tissues. 7 types of tissues are there. Rasa means fluid. Rakt means blood. Mas means flesh. Med, asthi, majja, shukra. So these are different tissues of body. So it should be in order, in harmony, in balanced state. Samadosha, samagnisha, samadhatu, malakriya. All digestive systems should be in order. But interesting thing is that next line says something very interesting. Because these lines, samadosha, samagnisha, they talk about material value, which can be tested in the lab. What type of protein, carbohydrate, mineral, vitamin, this and that you have in your physiology. And it can be said that these are ideal proportions, so a person is healthy. So it can be tested in the lab. But next line says, that is very important in Ayurveda. This is the definition of a healthy person. Samadosha, samagnisha, samadhatu, malakriya. Then in other line it says, prasanna atma indriya mana swasthita vidhyate. It means prasanna atma. It means prasanna means happy. Atma means soul. So prasanna atma, indriya and mana. All indriyas and mana. Mana means mind. So you can't test your mana. You can't test your atma. All these things are abstract. It can't be tested in lab because it's not material value. Only on symptomatic level you can. But these are abstract values. And how can you test these abstract value by the machine? Because machine needs something to test. When there is nothing, what it's going to test on. But these things are abstract, but these are very important because we must have some members of our family where all the tests are done and all the pathological report says that everything is normal, but a person is sick. So it is strange. All material level is normal, but a person is sick. Because as per Ayurveda, if your material level is pathological level, whatever you can test in pathological lab, if those material level, everything is in right proportion, but Prasanna Atma, that energy, when Atma goes away, then body becomes dead. All the parts of whatever healthy body, whatever healthy a person is, maybe winner of WWF, but whatever healthy person is, if that consciousness, that Atma, that soul goes away, all the parts of body stop working. It means that non-matter value, that abstract value has a meaning, has very important and rather most important value which keeps these material value functional. So that's why in Ayurveda it is said, Prasanna Atma, Indriya and Mana. Prasanna Atma, Indriya, Mana. Then only Swasthati Vidyate. Then only if your material value is in right proportion and it is in balanced state, along with Prasannatma, happy soul and mind and all indriyas, then only your body is happy. And we do all practices, we take right calories and right proportion of protein, carbohydrate, minerals, vitamins and all that. But we don't take care of mana, how to address mana, mind properly. So, because we don't take care of right proportion of a house, right placement of a house, right exposure with right type of sun, we don't live along with the right magnetic field. Because if we are not aligned properly with magnetic field, then all the flow, it repels, it obstructs, it gets disturbed by these, if we are not aligned with, because if you put magnet, then iron dust, simply attracts and it gets stuck with that. So similarly, we have so many iron thing and so many magnetic rich elements. So we know that if we put compass, needle goes to north. So we have a north pole, and it's a magnetic field. So if we are not aligned with that magnetic field, then our body has so many disturbances, obstructions, which can't be tested in the lab. We can test the happening after it happened, that our body is disturbed and we have this problem. But we won't be able to recognize or diagnose the problem why it is happening, because we can't test that magnetic, that the body is living against magnetic field and not in right degrees or this and that. So how can you diagnose it? So now it is said that where the material finishes, spirituality starts, because spirit means which is not manifested, right? So when material stops, then non-material starts, then spirituality starts. It means spirituality is not something abstract phenomena of that type which is something very different. It is very well woven with physiology. It is as important as taking right food with right proportion of protein, carbohydrate, minerals, vitamins on regular day-to-day basis. Every moment it has to be taken care of, like we take care of right food. So to keep your person Atma, Indriya, Mana, to keep a person healthy, as we take care of right type of food in right season for right prakriti of, because in Ayurveda it is said that every individual has a different physiology, different chemical combinations according to Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So we take care of it properly. So, and there is no method in, available now which can address all these things. We can simply say you walk, you do this, but walk, if we know precisely, which is only described in detail. Maybe we are not aware of other things, but whatever we are exposed with, it says that in Vedic science it is nicely described quality of radiations of each day, from Pratipada to Amavasya, from waxing moon and waning moon, and every season, every date has its own festival related with, and that festival is nothing but nourishing body with those chemicals, with those fruits, with those foods which are essential for that body. So if we want to remain healthy and we want to eliminate all those modern so-called lifestyle diseases, where now everybody is very well aware of, it's available on internet, there are so many diseases where doctor even, they don't know why it's happening. And why all these things are not, all these diseases were not available in ancient days. It is not like that we were not aware of it. No. People were healthy. Most of the people had tooth all around and they were not suffering from so many things. And we have all historical details. So if we want to address those problems, then we'll try to understand the pattern of living. Like in India, in ancient times, when it was called a bird of gold, Sone ki chidiya, then if we try to understand why it was having one of the biggest share of total GDP of the globe, why everybody was healthy, why? Because when we go through that we find that how beautiful town plannings were there. Thousand years ago we had all the drainage system, all the planned cities, all the swimming pools and all details of those plants which are having thousands and thousand plants having details. We have text mentioning all the medicinal qualities, and each and every day a festival was assigned, and every plant, every day, the quality of radiation, everything was so well woven that whatever we see in the nature, it has a certain quality, physical, chemical quality, and when our physiology is required to get exposure of that, it was woven with that festivals in the name of going around the tree, sitting under the tree, going along with the river. So by and having bathing with all many millions and million people, so having, in vaccination what we do, we inject the same virus or germ of that disease, weakening them, and body develops the vaccinate antibodies. So it is called vaccination. And we see that we find that if some bacteria and virus goes in water of Ganges, then it gradually vanishes. It means that Ganges, river Ganges, mother river Ganges, the water of that has the quality which makes the strength of virus bacteria is very low, and gradually it disappears. So that's why all the festival was done, that in Kumbh, Mahakumbh, these were the festivals where millions and millions people, they came uninvited and they took bath in the confluence of Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Sangam. So what by these, but because we know that the water of Ganges, it had quality which could make bacteria and viruses disappear. So it means if something is dipped in that, then it is weakened, and when everybody takes bath, it's a sort of vaccinated. But now things are little different. So many factories are polluting that water, and the quality of water is not that. Till today, if you take water from Gangotri or on Uttarkashi and all that, you keep this water, it won't decay for many years. It means still today, even today, it is having that quality. But I can't talk about the quality of river which is coming down towards Ganga Sagar, because all the way we have polluted by factories and by drainages, and now things are being addressed very properly, very quickly, efficiently. So maybe we can revive 100% things in that manner. So what main thing is to be addressed, that if we revive all those traditional things, Vedic things, then we can address Heyam Dukkham Anagatam, avoid the danger which is yet to come. That is very, very important. So if we take care of those things which are based on STHAPATyaVed, the principles of STHAPATyaVed, Vastu Shastra, Vedic sciences, then we can avoid so many dangers which is not yet came. So always prevention is better than cure. So this is very high time to address all those fields of society so that we can prevent health, wealth, happiness, and we can increase GDP, which was going into unproductive way, which can be utilized in more productive way, and every individual can become happier, healthier, and blissful, which will contribute inward peace gradually, starting from the home to city to country to world. And as we know very well, it's a very great phrase, very popular phrase, that money saved is money earned. So this way, if we can stop wastage or misuse is the most proper word rather than wastage, in wastage of money, which is used in those areas which can be prevented by creating good health, by good environment, by good habitation, by good planning, by reviving all those good ancient habits, which can so much money which is going in an unproductive manner in medicine, in taking health care, in making people. So we can prevent all those money which is used in addressing the health problems, not health, but health problems. So if we try to use that money in the health, creating health, not solving the problems of health, if we try to address the health of people by using all these, by taking care of all these branches of knowledge, then we can increase our GDP, which can create a good lot of wealth just by saving that part. And when a person is healthy in a society, he can be more or she can be more productive and can add in the productivity of GDP. So this way we can increase GDP of every country, whether it is developing or developed.